Hey everyone! For this video blog, I'm going to briefly go over my trip to the Season 2 Finals, and I'd like to discuss esports a bit. I got to talk a lot about esports while on my trip, and I've been thinking about this topic that I want to talk about for a little bit. I was probably going to do it before I went on my trip, but my last video blog I focused more on the drama and stuff, so I didn't get around to doing it. So first, I'm not going to go into all the details of the trip since it was crazy. It was probably one of the best trips I've ever been on. Santa Monica's a beautiful place. Our hotel was right next to the beach, so it was really cool. So yeah, for the finals, when we got there, we were waiting to get into our seats or be shown to where our seats are, and Ocelot walked by and he recognized me and came over and said hi, and that was really cool. Like I've been planning to try to meet him because I've been haven't talking to him on Skype and all that stuff. So it was really cool. Unfortunately, I couldn't meet him again later on that night. We were hoping to meet up again, but I was in the disabled section of the arena because of I believe it's because of fire safety hazards. That's usually they won't let you on the floor in those arenas. So yeah, so I didn't get to meet up with him. After the event, we kind of had to rush for our taxi. So that kind of sucked, but it was really cool meeting him, and it was pretty cool having a bunch of people recognize me and say they saw my stream. I was actually very embarrassed because I was like, cool, awesome, sweet. I didn't really know what to say, so it was kind of humbling. It was really cool. Another highlight of the finals was the orchestra. I loved it. It was so impactful. Just hearing it and seeing it is such a great. I'm really glad they did it. That was one of the best parts of the whole production. And then, oh yeah, okay. So most of you wouldn't know this, but for if you're at any event where they're giving out swag in the middle, like on a break or something like that, the swag never ever, no matter where, like if they try to shoot it to you or not, it never reaches the disabled section in any arena I've ever been in. Like they have those guns they shoot up in like the upper bowl section, but it never reaches the disabled section. And I'm used to this, but I was very surprised because a bunch of Riot employees noticed this, and they brought everyone in the disabled section that was sitting by us a bunch of the swag that was being tossed out. And honestly, that was probably the most impressive thing I've ever seen. It's something very simple, but most companies don't realize it. Like, yeah, it's bothered me in the past where I don't get the swag because I'm sitting in a horrible section for that. But it was really cool. They came and brought it. A bunch of us who were in the disabled section got a bunch of the T-shirts and whatnot. So that was really cool. It definitely reinforced my belief that Riot really does focus on their customers a lot more than other companies. So that was awesome. What else? Well, I'm glad TPA won, of course. Yeah, so was everyone else there, which is not surprising. Oh, and the four-man Snoopy stare. That was pretty funny. I'm really mad props to Freak for thinking to do that. That was a good idea. The whole trip was just amazing. Like, I don't even know how to put it all into words. The finals were so amazing. The people at Riot were so accommodating and helpful. They go beyond what I've ever seen. Like, I'm used to companies and people worrying about your needs and all that stuff and catering to what you need because of I'm disabled and they usually do that anyways. But they went another level, another step. Everyone was looked after. It was really cool to see. So yeah, I don't know, I'm gonna post pictures about the trip. If people want to ask me questions in chat or post on my Facebook, I'll try answering them. There's just so much I don't even know what else to talk about. It's kind of like a little whirlwind in my head right now. So yeah, with the trip aside, I've been kind of thinking about a little parallel I've noticed, and it's between esports and disabled sports actually. So both of them face the same issues with regards to legitimacy and visibility. Let's see, what did I wrote my script for this, so I actually know what I was going to talk about, but now I forget what I. Okay. So yeah, so both sports face issues with being, they're not as legitimate as soccer, or basketball, but from us viewers, yeah, they are they're freaking sweet. There's strategy, there's emotion. The teams get excited, they get sad. It's the same as every other sport. And I think some of the issues with legitimacy is kind of a stigma that's been stuck. Like with disabled sports, it's a constant struggle for disabled people to strive for equality, and it's getting a lot better, but it's always been a constant struggle. So that's where the stigma for them comes in. And then for esports, it's kind of similar. Like you get the nerd kind of stigma. Oh, they're just computer geeks, and that's definitely improved over the years. So I think that's getting better. I don't really want to talk about the issue of legitimacy too much because I have seen growth, I've seen improvements. So what I really want to talk about is the issue of visibility. And I don't mean just visibility being on TV. Yeah, we need to get on TV. It needs to be televised. Like, if I can watch poker or tennis on TV, why can't I watch esports or wheelchair rugby or something like that? Like, it's just silly. But the issue, and well, in Korea you can watch it on TV, which is pretty cool for esports. But that's because it's their culture; they're used to it, right? Whereas most other cultures, oh, they're nerds, oh, that kind of stuff. So, anyways, my issue with visibility isn't being on TV because I think that'll come with time. My issue with visibility is actually for new viewers picking up the game and watching it. I could flip the TV to volleyball. I have no idea how volleyball's played for the most part, a little bit, and I could still understand it. And you kind of miss that with esports. Like for during my trip, my grandma was with me, and she had no clue what was going on. Even with the commentators, I feel the commentators are supposed to bridge the gap between having no clue and kind of getting it and being able to enjoy it. And even with commentators, it didn't make a difference. She had no clue, and that's not their fault. They do a great job. The issue I feel is that League of Legends, in particular, has unique objectives, stories, items, champions. Everything is very unique. There's no parallel that can be made to other sports. Let me give you an example. For disabled sports, most of them are based off of the able-bodied sports. So a lot of the rules are the same. A lot of the positions are the same. They can even have same plays, same strategies. I don't know too much about wheelchair rugby, but for wheelchair soccer or power chair football, which I play, the goalie is pretty much the same. You have a center, you have wingers. You don't want to try to set up plays with passing. It's at a glance you can kind of pick up what's going on. You can tell if a team's too defensive, if they're struggling in the offense, if their passes aren't working. You can pick it up because it's like soccer. Or football. It's like it's able-bodied version of the sport. Whereas League of Legends doesn't really have another version that everyone's used to. I guess the best way. Yay for being interrupted. Okay, what was I saying? Oh yeah, League of Legends doesn't really have its own parallel to that people would already understand. It's more so, well, I guess the only parallel I can kind of think of is War, because there's a lot of strategy, little moving around, but it's not, that's more like RTS in my opinion, is what would parallel to being a general or something in an army. But even that, most people wouldn't be able to grasp fully because they've never been in that position. They've never seen that position at a glance, except for in the movies and on games and stuff. So there's no real parallel that people already understand fully. So my kind of suggestion would be to allow viewers to know the playstyle of each champion. See, if you look at a champion like Rise, well, okay, you don't know what Rise is. He's an AP caster. That's all you'll probably be told by the casters, right? But you need to know, okay, he's a consistent damage. I'd probably, if I wanted to compare him to anything, because of his Q, I feel like he's a machine gun, if that makes any sense. Whereas I would compare LeBlanc or another bursty champion to maybe a sniper. LeBlanc can get in and get out fast and do a lot of damage. So I find if you make that kind of connection parallel, or at least even just say the playstyle, it'd be a lot easier for viewers to understand. Say, okay, so if you list the playstyle, I'm trying to think of a good example. I'm not good at this. knowing counters too well, because I don't play enough. But okay, say you have Rise, who's a consistent damage dealer, who's also tanky. So your playstyle will be tanky, consistent damage. Okay, so if he's against a burst, squishy AP champion in mid, well, just knowing those two playstyles, you could probably guess that Rise would win because he's tanky and he has consistent damage. If he's tanky, he can survive the burst, and he'll be doing more damage when their burst is down. So if I hope you kind of understand what I'm getting at. A lot of it has to do with if they know the playstyles, they'll understand the counters, they'll understand how the lane matchups will go, they'll understand the flow of the game a lot better. So I think having the champion playstyles more apparent, more visible, would be good. It would be very good for new viewers, and they could totally show this during the picks and bans, like they're showing the champion art after a champion is picked, and they could totally have it listed there. Maybe even top counters or top lanes that it's strong against, something like that. Just in general, like it might not be the most accurate. There might be questionable suggestions there, but as long as there's something for them to kind of base off of, it'll make it a lot easier for viewers to watch. Uh, so yeah, that's just one idea. Also, another idea I had was maybe having a separate channel or stream for inexperienced viewers to watch. Now, this is one where the commentators could focus more on the basics of each champion in the game, all their abilities, how their abilities work, more of the basic stuff, not so much the strategies and all the complex stuff, or not complex, but all the stuff that the other casters talk about. That's more why. This is the new viewers need to know how, not the why. They need to start with the how and then build up to the why. So that's my idea, is to have another channel maybe with something more basic for new viewers to pick up. But yeah, League of Legends is pretty young. It doesn't have the benefit of being a game like football or basketball or baseball where it's been played for generations and generations, and it's kind of ingrained in our DNA now. Like it doesn't have that ability, or not it doesn't have that benefit. So it kind of needs to teach and train people, and I think that's going to help us grow our viewership and to kind of spread the viewership outside of the typical demographic. Because right now, most of our viewers are currently players, or maybe they'll play StarCraft 2 or other games, and they, heard about the massive stream and all the numbers, and so they check it out. But we want to get more viewers. If we're going to be televised, you might have like some parents or grandparents flicking through the channels, and they see this League of Legends thing. Well, you want them to sit there and watch it. You want them to actually be able to understand it and enjoy it, and maybe they'll keep watching it. So I think that's really good. Or I hope my ideas would work. I'm not sure. Like it's just me rambling a little bit. It's a pretty complex issue. It's not something that could be fixed with one little solution, but I think it's something that definitely needs to be looked at. Is kind of making it more evident what each champion does. I know it's never perfect because it's always changing with balance issues, and the pros always play champions different than you would expect sometimes. So it's hard to pin down things, but having a rough idea would definitely help new viewers out. So yeah, that's it for this video blog. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.